In this video, we're going to talk about reference angles. So a reference angle is the acute angle formed by the terminal side of theta, meaning an angle, and the x-axis. Okay, so we assume that all angles start at 0, and then if they're positive, they would open counterclockwise, and their terminal side would be where we stop. If they happen to be a negative angle, they would open clockwise, downward this way, and again the terminal side is where they stop. So here we also want to make sure we know, because sometimes this is a point of confusion, or it's just good to remember, that reference angles are always acute angles. So they will always be an angle between 0 and 90 degrees. Okay, that's important to know. And the reason is because we stop, it's between the x-axis, so it can't go past one of these top points. And we'll see that as we do an example. So let's do this example. Find the reference angle of 324 degrees. So the angle of 324 opens positive, so we open counterclockwise, we go past 90, we go past 180, we go past 270. 324 is down here in the fourth quadrant. Okay, so this is our angle here. We want to know what the reference angle is, which again is the angle formed by the terminal side of the angle, here's our terminal side, and the x-axis. So really what we want to know is, what is the size of this angle here? Okay, what is the size of this opening? Now, to find your reference angle, what you want to do is go to the x-axis, and what angle do we have here? Well, if we went all the way around, this is a 360-degree angle. So what we're looking for is the difference between 360 and 324, and that will give us our opening here. So when you're in the fourth quadrant and you're trying to find the reference angle of an angle that ends in the fourth quadrant, you take 360 degrees minus that angle. And we find that our reference angle is 36 degrees. So the reference angle for an angle of 324 is 36 degrees. All right, just ignore this circle here. Sorry, I had to reuse a slide. On this one, what we want to do is we want to find the reference angle of negative 142 degrees. So remember, negative angles, they're going to start also at 0, but they're going to open clockwise. So we're going to be opening down. So if we want our negative measures on here, if we are opening downward, this would be negative 90 degrees. And this would be negative 180 if we continued around. Okay, so if we open this angle, negative 142 would pass 190, but it wouldn't make it to negative 180. So it ends up down here in quadrant 3. And this is our angle of negative 142 degrees. But we want the reference angle. So remember, the reference angle is the angle between the x-axis and the terminal side of our angle. So here is the x-axis, and here is the terminal side of our angle. So we want to know how many degrees is this opening here. I'm going to take 180, and I'm going to subtract 142. Now technically I could take negative 180 minus a negative 142 and take the absolute value, but this will be much faster. Right? So if I go ahead and subtract those, I get 38 degrees. So the opening here is a 38-degree angle. And so basically you're just finding out how far is the angle from the x-axis. This one is 38 degrees. So the reference angle for a negative 142-degree angle would be 38 degrees. Again, sorry about the extra circle there. This one we want to find the reference angle for 564. And if any time you want to practice on your own, want to pause and practice, that's fine. 564 degrees. Well, one full circle is 360, right? And we know we're going to exceed a full circle. So let's find out by how far so that we know where we were going to end up. Okay, so 564, how much further past 360 does it go? It goes 204 degrees. So really this angle starts at 0, goes all the way around once, there's 360, and then it goes another 204 degrees, so it's going to go past 90, It's going to go past 180 and it will end up here. 204 is more than 180, but not as much as 270. So we end up right here in this quadrant once again. Okay, so this is technically a 204-degree angle. We want to know the reference angle. So again, the angle between the x-axis here and the terminal side of our angle. So we're finding this opening again. All right, so what are our two angles we're comparing? 204 and 180. We want to know the difference between those. So we take 204 minus 180, and we get 24 degrees. So the angle for this opening is 24 degrees. The reference angle for a 564-degree angle is 24. Notice again, every time it's an acute angle that is our answer. Here's yet another example. Find the reference angle for 282 degrees. So once again, we want to open, this is positive, so it's going to open upward. It's going to go past 90, past 180, and past 270 till we land on 282 degrees. The reference angle, once again, will be the angle between the x-axis and our terminal side. So here's our terminal side, and in this quadrant, here is our x-axis. So we want to know what's the angle difference between 360 and 282 degrees. And we can just find that by subtracting. And when we do that, we get 360 minus 282 is 78 degrees. So the reference angle for a 282 degree angle is 78 degrees.